Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Luke, your host, that big guy on the bottom left. If it's your first time here, we welcome you to the Gibson Hustle, where we discuss different hustles of business and investing, with the main driver to build wealth over time. This playlist is basically a weekly portfolio update, for better or worse, where I'm hoping to take you on a journey to grow 50k into $1 million over a 10-year period in the share market, purely on the ASX. I am currently using the QAV, Quality at Value methodology. This is episode 4, and exciting to announce we just grew from 58k to 59k over the last week. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, to keep some structure to the video, we'll move through a few key areas, and this will entail a quick overview of the QAV stock's performance, both over the last week and since inception. Then we will have a Nugget section, which is going to be new, where you should learn something new each week. And then we'll go through the income and owner contribution section, which will give us an overall portfolio value. And last but not least, we'll go through the disclaimer at the end. So how did the stocks do this week? Well, over the last week, we have reached an overall stock value of $55,124, which is up from $54,059 last week, which has given us a capital gain of 1.97%. As you can see, some recovery from IVE Group and Medusa Mining helped carry the portfolio up this week. We can now compare this quickly since inception. Alright, so since inception, we have a pure capital gain of negative 2.19%. Unfortunately, it's still negative at the moment, but we've had a dividend return of 2.45%, which has given us a total return of, drum roll please, a positive 0.26%. So happy this number has hit a positive number, showing the methodology is starting to come into fruition. It's still early days, or it could just be because we've had a good week in the share market. Either way, I'm happy. But let's actually dive into our worst performer, for my personal opinion around the stock, taking us into the Nugget section. So I was speaking to a mate the other day, and we were discussing the performance on some of the stocks. He said it would be great if I could expand on some information in regards to the good or poor performance of at least a single stock. So I'll take him up on that suggestion, and that is what this Nugget section will now be on. Take that nugget for all the pun it has inside, and let's take a prospector look at Medusa Mining Limited. Man, I am funny. I'll jump into Stock Doctor, another paid service that I use, and if you like it and you'd like to sign up, my link will be in the description below with a said discount. So this is basically Medusa Mining on the front screen of Stock Doctor. It gives a snapshot of its past financial performance, which you can delve into the numbers. You can go right into detail in the different screens. But for this, I basically scroll down here. I have a look at what Medusa Mining does. So its principal activities, Australian-based gold producer, focusing on projects in the Philippines. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the company is really about. So I noticed that it's a gold producer and that it's mainly in the Philippines. So that's like two driving reasons for the stock price to move around. But other than that, I usually jump into the charting tool. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this is basically Medusa Mining in the Stock Doctor Advanced Charting, using a QA methodology for a 3-point trend line. And we're going to be focusing on the sell point, as we have already bought this stock. So you will see the red and the green lines. Focusing on the red one, you can see that there's a peak down here and then a second peak here. So then if you follow that up, this gives us a sell price of about 65 cents if you keep going. So as you can see, it was coming down towards it. Lucky it had a recent uptick. So unfortunately, our entry was back up here on a peak of about 0.84 cents. And currently it's trading at 0.755, which is unfortunately about a 10.36% loss, which we've seen before. But another thing that I do in Stock Doctor is I put an alert. So if I know what my sell point is, so I reckon it's about 65 cents, I actually have an alert set up. So if you press this button, it'll bring up the alert. So once it gets down to this red line, it'll notify me, and then I know I need to sell out of the stock. So at the moment we're above the sell line, so I would keep holding on to Medusa Mining personally for now, and that's my opinion. But that's basically how the 3-point trend line for the sell works. And as gold is pretty much the underlying commodity for the company, I also watch with the charting tool on the gold futures. And as you can see, it's a pretty similar bottom peaks to Medusa Mining. You can see between the two here, it's got the same trend line. And then as you can see, it's up here, and gold has just turned back up from 17.31 to 17.95 per ounce. But if that gets anywhere close to the sell line, I would be watching Medusa. So same with Medusa, if this part here comes down and breaches the sell line, I would probably have to sell Medusa Mining as well, because they usually follow each other hand in hand. So yeah, basically that chart shows us our entry point and when we would exit and what does influence the stock price. So hopefully you got something out of this Nugget section, and each week we'll try and do something a little bit different in here. We can talk about the entry, and we can talk about exits, and we can even dive into a stock fully. So this takes our cash balance, still at 4,039. No income came in for this period, which takes our portfolio with the 4,039 in the CDIA account, plus the 55,124 in the stocks, takes our total portfolio to 59,164. We're doing well, guys, we're doing well. Alright guys, everyone's favorite part, the disclaimer time. So just remember that this video is entertainment purposes only. If you see me buying or selling any stocks, know that this is not financial advice and you should do your own research before you make any investment decisions. Please contact a financial professional. Also, we do not work for QAV, and the views in this video are purely my own for entertainment, and the systems used are intellectual property of QAV. And last but definitely not least, please make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and tickle that bell to get notified when my slowly but surely better content keeps coming out. Have a good weekend, guys.